Now today we discuss on traction and related definition, mechanics of the rigid wheel. Myself, Professor Shinde, working as a assistant professor in Kikiwa College of Agriculture Engineering and Technology, Nashik. A pneumatic tire which is flexible has a smaller contact area on concrete surface than it close on a soft ground. A rule of thumb which can be used for estimation of tire. Now contact area is given by the formula area A is equal to BL, where A is the tire contact area, B is the section width of tire, and L is the length of tire. Experimentally, it has found that it is A is equal to 0.78 BL. This is for pneumatic tire. Now the traction terminology, the traction, the process by which tractor develops attractive force and overcome the motion resistance to produce desired motion. Now tractive force, the force developed on tractor interface by traction device as a result of applied torque from the power source. Motion resistance, any force imposing the resistance against desired motion. Now the rolling resistance, the motion resistance that arises from the deformation in soil and the traction device. Now slip, it is an indication of how the speed of the traction device differs from the forward speed of the tractor, and it can be defined as the percentage of travel reduction and given as S is equal to 1 minus VA upon VT into 100. Now the traction efficiency, the efficiency of the tractive device is converting the axle input power into output power. The term tractive efficiency has been defined as the output power upon input power into 100. And basically tractive efficiency is converting the axle torque into net traction. Now these are the effective factors and definitions. The soil engineering properties, cone index, it is used for to measure the soil strength, and it is denoted by the CI. Now the tractor parameter are the tire breadth, tire diameter, tire rolling radius, and tractor weight. Operational parameter is the tractive force, towed force, pull, and slip. Now towed wheel is an unpowered wheel and axle torque is considered to be zero. Now towed force of towed pneumatic tire is generally dependent upon the load size, inflation pressure, as well as the soil strength. Hence the towed force can be predicted. F upon W is equal to 1.2 upon Cn plus 0.04, where Ft is the towed force of the wheel, W is the dynamic load, B is the unloaded tire width, and D is the unloaded tire diameter. And Cn is the wheel numeric, and Cn is given by the BD into Ci upon W, where the Ci is the cone index. Now the driving wheel, the variation of the driving wheel performance is based on the consideration that the normal tire inflation pressure in agriculture tire produce the tire deflection of the approximately 20%. Therefore the traction prediction equation can be given as for the net pull, slip, and load. And this is the equation where the F is the wheel pull, W is the dynamic wheel load, and E is the base of the natural logarithm, where Cn is calculated by Ci BD upon W. A number of factors influencing the development of traction force by a traction device, which in our case usually is a pneumatic tires, and these factors including the area of contact on the soil by the traction device, rolling resistance, tire inflation pressure, etc. In addition to this, a lot of aids can be used for enhancing the traction develop. Now the effect of inflation pressure. Now the effect of inflation pressure affect the traction as evident from the Newton's Morse expression. The tire thrust can be increased if the area of the contact on the ground surface is increased, especially in case of soil, which are cohesive in nature. Hence, as the tire pressure is decreased, the contact area increases and traction can be increased, vice versa. Now the thread pattern and design, thread pattern and design is also important for enhancing the traction, and the tire thread pattern depends upon the tractive efficiency, soil compaction, slip, tire inflation pressure in direction of motion, and normal load on the tire. Now the tracks have been used on a traction aid in a loose ground surface. This is not only used in a loose soil in a field condition but also in icy and snowy condition. This helps in traction by reducing the bearing pressure, and these also tend to be costly option, although the quite efficient one. Now the tire chains are used around the tires and help in improving the traction by increasing the adhesion in a slushy condition. Now the ballasting, the normal load on traction wheel can be increased by putting the water or air inside the pneumatic tire tube. Filling the water in the tube is the water ballasting, and filling the sand in the tube is called as the sand ballasting. Generally the tube is filled up to maximum 75% of the ballasting material and rest with the air at the rated air pressure. These are the additional weight added for the ballasting purpose. And these are the two photographs in one which the tire is additional weight is added to the rear wheel, and in another diagram the additional weight is added to the front of the tractor. So when tractor is under loading condition, the front wheel not leave the ground, and it is get the stability in a tractor. These are the cage wheel used for the uh, when tractor working under the muddy condition. These types of steel wheel or cage types of wheel used generally in paddy cultivation. Thank you.